Welcome back, everybody. Um, yeah, Rick from the Dreadful Minutes did like a Halloween thread that I just saw today that I really wanted to respond to, which is funny because I haven't made like a collection update in fucking forever. Um, but I figured I'd just come back with something, and this is absolutely something I love to talk about. Um, I love spooky, fall-themed records in general. So yeah, I've pulled a few here to talk about. Um, yeah, it wasn't like too hard for me to think of stuff to grab. Um, I did notice I was kind of lacking in like collection with this kind of stuff more than I thought I was. Um, so I made a couple stretches because it's my channel. Fuck off. Um, that may not necessarily be Halloween adjacent, but they're kind of like, to me at least, like spooky and gothy and make me think about fall in general. So I included those just also because there's some fantastic releases in my opinion. They're fucking amazing. Before we get into that, a quick update. I don't know if I've made a video since I've put out an album. Um, Actually, I'll grab it right now. I'm gonna do a bit of shameless self promo. This is The City by Amoon. Progressive, experimental-ish black metal. Yeah, it's weird. There's a couple spooky tracks on there. There's a western on there, so I guess it fits. But yeah, I absolutely want to thank everybody who's kind of like supported me and the band during the whole release process. Hell, even a couple YouTubers have given their thoughts on the record. Brain Smasher just the other day posted a video about it in his collection update. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. The new place has been treating me alright, actually. It is a little shitty apartment in the city, but it's fine for now. I'm with my friends, so that's all I really give a shit about. What we're listening to in the background, actually, is actually a past album of the year winner for me. This is Sequestered Sympathy by Exulansis. These guys are pretty good friends of mine, and you need to fucking listen to this album. It's incredible. When I picked this up, I grabbed a 1 of 5 edition like hand-carved box set that they did for this, and I'm never getting rid of this. Yeah, those guys are great people, great musicians. They make some haunting music. So yeah, and this is definitely an album that reminds me of this time of year anyway, so I think it's fitting. But anyways, on to the subject. Here are my spooky albums. I'm going to start with an obvious one. I'm going to go through my CDs first. This is Blackwater Park by Opeth. If you've heard this album, you don't need me to explain this. Everything from the album cover to the song titles, the vibe of this album, just, it is terrifying and really haunting. It definitely feels like a horror movie in the best way, and I absolutely fucking love this record for a million reasons. So yeah, Blackwater Park, Opeth. Not the last time you'll be seeing them in this video. One of my gothic spooky stretches that I was talking about was this, actually. This is Shape of Despair with Angels of Distress. This is actually the first Funeral Doom record I ever heard, and it was kind of before I knew what Funeral Doom was. And it left a very lasting impression on me. I do really believe that this album is kind of haunting, and you're going to hear me say that a lot. It is really, it's lightly gothic. I feel like just the atmosphere of that album is really, really creepy and dreadful, which is appropriate given who started this challenge. But yeah, fucking love that album. Perfect for this time of year, in my opinion. Up next, actually, is something that not a lot of people have heard about because it's a really, really tiny project. This is the self-titled debut of Running Fox Lost Foal. This is guitar-based ambient works, I guess is the best way I could describe it. And it is like, it goes from beautiful to terrifying pretty fucking quickly. It's some of these songs sound like they would be background tracks in a horror movie, like a real fucking horror movie. It's fantastic. More people should be listening to Running Fox. This tape actually was 2 out of 15, and I'm pretty sure he has a bunch left. Apologize for the sun glare. Not a lot I can do about it. But yeah, more people should be listening to Running Fox. He recently did a split with, / collaborative effort, I should say, with Robes of Snow, that I did some drum work on, and yeah, Running Fox just gets better. With every release, he's starting to implement some more folky elements, which is kind of making it spookier. But yeah, I do mean it that a lot of his music sounds like it was like ripped off of a horror movie soundtrack. It's fucking fantastic. I got 2 more CDs for you. Up next is my favorite Fortress album. This is their 3rd one. I'm sorry. This one. This is their 3rd record. Notice the crack on my jewel case. Yeah, this is much closer to like ambient black metal than anything else they've ever really done. And I gravitate to this record so much. I couldn't tell you why. Something about just the vast, it's in the title, something about the vastness of the album, it just makes it feel bigger than itself, and it really does have this, like, haunting, spooky vibe to it that I absolutely love. I come back to this album fucking weekly, compared to most other Fortress albums where I love and enjoy them, especially their 2nd album, which usually is the one everybody prefers, or their debut. This album has it's like a world of its own, and it never fails to fucking transport me there, and it's fantastic. And for my final CD, I think this is the most egregious example of Halloween spooky and scary vibe in sound. Maybe not so much presentation, even though it is terrifying. But this is straight up the most terrifying, haunting album I've ever heard. It like makes me sick listening to this thing in the best way possible. This is Scar-Sighted by Leviathan. Blackened death metal? I don't know how to describe this. With a lot of terrifying ambience. The lyrics are horrifying. The presentation of this actually is really cool. There's a ton of art in it, including the popular album cover. But there's like one for each song in here, and it's fucking great. But yeah, I don't think Scar-Sighted needs a explanation if you've heard it. Honestly, I don't even know if I can do it justice with real words anyways. I truly mean it as being like the most terrifying record I've ever heard. That I like, that's like palatable. That isn't like a Portal album or something. But yeah, I definitely think this is the most Halloween spooky album that I've picked. However, on to my LPs, and don't mind me as I reach for something that I forgot to grab. There we go. I'll talk about that in a second. Shame on me. But anyways, on to my LPs. I picked out now 4, was 3. And I'm going to start off with a band that I feel like needs to be talked about more. This is Torch of Our Final Night by Woven is the Earth. Nothing about this album is overtly Halloween-y and, spooky. However, I feel like this album just kind of feels like it, especially in sound and production. Something about this record is just really, really claustrophobic in a way, and I fucking love this splatter. Something about this record just gives me that vibe, and it's really hard for me to explain. You might see this as an excuse for me to talk about this band, which I don't care. That's fine. But yeah, listen to that record. Call me insane if you don't hear it, but But yeah, I definitely think that album just has this weird atmosphere to it that's really off-putting and kind of spooky, and I really think it's appropriate for the holiday and the seasons. So the album that I just pulled, because I thought I had it out, but I didn't, it's the other Opeth album I'm showcasing. This is My Arms, Your Hearse by Opeth. This is their third release. Probably their folkiest in a way. I mean, all three of their first three albums had like an aggressive amount of acoustic elements everywhere, but I feel like this one implemented it into the metal passages just like the best. And this album, being a concept album and everything, it really does feel like a folky horror album. It is fucking fantastic. Spooky all the way through. Really, it just does have that like Halloween vibe. I mean, there's a fucking something on the album cover. I can't tell. It looks like some witch. Yeah, My Arms, Your Hearse. Fantastic album. On to my other stretch. This is Hope by Swallow the Sun. And I really could have picked probably any Swallow the Sun album. If I had their debut, I probably would have selected that one. Something about Swallow the Sun and just their gothic, synthy, spooky nature of their music just screams to me during this time of the year. Like, I remember like the first not summer day we had here in Ohio. It went from like 80 degrees out and sunny to just one day it was 65 and fall weather. But like that first day I put this on. Yeah, I think it's just fantastic. I mean, a lot of the song titles on here kind of have that spooky vibe to them. Like, Too Cold for Tears. Dumb song name, fantastic song. But yeah, that's my stretch. It definitely makes me think about this time of year, and it's very gothic and spooky to me, which screams Halloween to me. Anything gothic screams Halloween to me. So yeah, Swallow the Sun, Hope. And this is my last album for the day, and how could I not pull this? Like, you see it, right? They're there. This is Longing by Bell Witch. This is the most overtly spooky album they've ever made, and it sounds like it too. This album is really claustrophobic in a way. It's really minimalistic, as all of their music is. God, it's fantastic. Like, how could I not? There's graves everywhere. Yes, I got it signed. It's all about, spooky shit. It's just too obvious. How could I not? This is like the one egregious Halloween record I have. So, figured I'd pull that. And with that concludes my entries. I have an aggressive amount of what I would call fall-themed black metal, like folky black metal stuff, that I always pull out in this time of year. Pretty much my entire Falls of Rauros and Panopticon collection I could have justified for this, but I decided to keep them out, since that's like, two of my favorite bands. I talk about them all the fucking time. Figured I'd showcase some stuff that I don't usually showcase. Some stuff that I don't really talk about. So yeah, I think that about covers it. I'm probably going to film a collection update soon, I hope. Like I said in my previous video, I haven't been collecting a lot. Mainly I've had other financial things to be worrying about recently. But I've just slowly managed to get a couple new things. Some things were sent to me. I've worked on some things that have since released. And I definitely plan on actually making some bigger purchases. I need to finish out my Wolves in the Throne Room collection. I have an excuse as to why I don't have them yet, but I don't feel like getting into it right now. And I'm actually planning on finally going through with it and dropping some money and getting a bunch of Wolves in the Throne Room records, especially since I'm going to be seeing them next January out in Pittsburgh. So if you're in Pittsburgh and you're going to see Wolves in the Throne Room in Fold of Hell, me and the entirety of my band will be there. So can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see them play. I think they're going to be the first band that I'm like going to see since the You Know What started. And there's plenty of shows next spring that I'm going to be looking at too. Godspeed's coming nearby, Mono's coming by. Oh, that'll be great. And actually, Swallow the Sun is coming by, up in Detroit, I believe. But yeah, future's looking up for the music world, for my bands even. Amun's doing pretty well, and I've got Canisteris is putting out a split here soon. Neverdon's finishing up our album. Things are looking good, but yeah, thank you for stopping by. Thanks to Rick for doing this, giving me an excuse to talk about spooky albums. And yeah, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Take care.